Welcome back to Let's Have It Out. I am Kasi Tole, and my guest on the show today is the president of the African Content Movement, Mr. Hlaudi Motsoeneng. And earlier on, before we went on a break, we were reflecting on your legacy at the SABC. And one of the last things that you said is that when you got them, you decided to get rid of perhaps some of the things that were not working well at the SABC. You mentioned some of the consultants that you moved up there as a way of really putting through a very sustainable strategy at the SABC. But I think the big problem that South Africans have is that when you look at the SABC now, it is clearly not sustainable. And the key thing here is that you haven't been out of the SABC for a very long time. In fact, the annual report of 2017 still lists you as an employee during that particular time frame. So I'm struggling to understand how a sustainable strategy could have simply collapsed within an 18-month period.
Look, Ndati, you need to understand this. There is cycle, financial cycles within any organization. And in March, you close your books. Example, in March, you close your books.
Yeah.
If in the bank you were having 1.1 billion,
yeah.
When you close your books, the amount in the bank, because now you have paid your employees, you have paid all service providers and tax and VAT, which means that 1.1 billion, it can move from that amount to 700 million, which it has been happening.
Okay. What would it move to 700 million?
It can move to 700 million.
Okay.
So, which it has been happening. When I left the SABC example, the cash in the bank, it was 800 plus million.
Yeah.
I left.
It's a good number, but I'm wondering, would that even sustain the salaries of the SABC for a year?
Let me tell you. You need 600 million.
Is that the wage bill at the SABC?
Yeah, you need 600 million to pay all service providers to look after your employees at the SABC.
Okay.
After paying all the VAT and the tax, now you start from the new financial year.
Yeah.
When you start from the new financial year, what you do, you know that already. I'm just giving you an example.
Yeah. Already,
because when I left, when I left 800 million in the bank.
I'm happy with the 800 million. Can we just go to Mike and then we'll come back to the issue?
No, but I should finalize this because when it was 800 million in the bank, which means you close the books. And when the books were closed, for me, when I left the SABC, it was 800 million.
Yeah.
The current leadership, what they were supposed to do, it was to increase that 800 million. What they did, they went for disclaimer. They, in their bank, when they closed their book, it was 130 million. Where is that?
All right, just a few moments. Mike from Cape Town, you joining us?
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Mike.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. As a young man born into apartheid, as a white young man, SABC was controlled 100% by the Broederbond, and the propaganda was outrageous. Even under the Broederbond and the racist National Party government, they started a program called The Editors. This program was summarily banned by Hlaudi, your guest this evening, with little, I think probably half an hour notice it was banned. There was no reason given. It treated the listeners with contempt. It treated and gave the presenters of SABC and the staff, may I say, who I value very highly, were extremely embarrassed, being treated like a Mickey Mouse radio station when Hlaudi Motsoeneng decided to ban the program. Now, with that in mind, where do you stand and where does your party stand on democracy and freedom of speech? This cannot be any way to run a country, and certainly not a democracy.
Thank you very much, Mike from Cape Town. And I think, Hlaudi, this was going to be an inevitable question, the question around politics. Now, of course, earlier on, we'll be speaking, focusing primarily on your role at the SABC. You're now a politician, and what you said, what was quite interesting, is that the new leadership of the SABC came in there with their political mandate to get rid of Hlaudi. What does that mean?
Kaya, can I just finish 3 matters before I answer your question? My legacy, because I want to just close the legacy. The past the legacy also, it was 90%.
Yes.
Which turns around the lives of people. And it was not just about the artist.
Yeah.
It was about all people who do business with the SABC.
I think the problem with the 90% situation is that obviously you would know that unfortunately the way the whole of broadcasting works is that the advertisers buy into the things that they want. And of course, if you then say to them, look, we're going to have 90% local content, and you don't get the advertising community to buy into that model, you are running the risk that they were going to abandon you, move to private service providers. And unfortunately, that is what happened.
No, they did not. That is a pure lie and misleading people of South Africa.
The finances
No.
carry on.
It happens. You can't blame me when I'm not there. I'm telling you when I was there.
We can blame you for the decision you made when you were there that are still affecting the SABC now. Do you accept that?
If I was there,
yeah,
SABC will be having 1.8 billion in the bank.
How much do they have now? Because they could very well have 1.8 billion. You don't know.
No. People, if they don't know broadcasting, they don't know. If you don't know, you don't know.
But I think businesses are sort of the same.
No.
I mean, the finances are the same. You don't have to master broadcasting to understand a balance sheet.
Kaya, you don't understand what you are talking about.
Okay.
You see, when you interview me, you should know your story.
Yeah.
And here I'm telling you the story, because when you tell me about the perception, here I'm telling you the story. Here's the real story. When the advertisers, they come to the SABC or any broadcaster, what attracts them is the audience.
Yes.
And I can tell you, the local content attracted more audience. Example, Uzalo, Generation, comparing to international content. I did not wake up in the morning.
So you did your research. You did your research.
90%.
Yeah.
All the team of the SABC, I put a schedule. I said, let's go each and every schedule within the SABC. And those people that are not performing, let us get rid of them. And when I check the books and the scheduling of the SABC, the international content, they were not performing.
Yeah.
That is the reason we get rid of them. It is not true that we just wait and introduce 90%.
So you did do your research. Okay, we'll carry on with this after the break. Let's have it out. Carries on after this short break.